Hello everyone, my name is Meg and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about art supplies. One of my favorite things, I think sometimes I like it a little bit more than actually doing the art, is going to art stores or art supply stores and checking out all the fun art supplies they have. I also really like watching a good haul video on YouTube where artists show all the new products, colors, paints, markers, pencils, pens that they've recently picked up. And a lot of that can lead to, I think, this idea that if you don't have the best of the best or the latest and greatest, somehow your art isn't going to be as good because you're not using those products. In my opinion, the best art products are going to be the ones that you, A, can afford, B, the ones you have, but more importantly, the ones that you're actually going to use. I think for a lot of people, when we spend a lot of money on something, right, that's a really big investment and we want to make sure that it lasts and we don't want to ruin something. But art supplies are supposed to be used, and so spending a lot of money on something, while the quality might be great, if you're just going to have them sit on your shelf or wherever you keep your art supplies, they're not doing anything for you. So it's really been kind of a waste. As you can see from my palette, I definitely use it. This has gotten its use. It's actually a vintage paint pen I got off of eBay. And then the half pans I bought individually off of Etsy. I really have a very particular palette that I like to use, and it can be really expensive to buy paint tubes to get all the colors that you want. So this palette took me, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years to finally build and put together and find the colors that I really love to use, I'm excited to use. And I think that is one of the most important parts about the art supplies you have, is that as long as they, I hate this term, but as long as they spark joy and make you want to pick them up to use them, then those are the best art supplies to have. So the colors and paints I'm using here, they are Daniel Smith watercolor paints, which are some of the best watercolors out there. This is why it took me so long to build this palette, is because they are so expensive in my mind. And then sort of those shimmery metallic ones are also from Etsy, and those I got from Watercolor. Those are just a fun way to add a little pop and pizzazz to paintings when I'm working on them. As for watercolor brushes, I really like the Royal and Langnickel watercolor brushes. I bought my current set from Jet Pens when I was doing just a big order for journal supplies from them. And then I also get them at Michael's. They are great brushes. They do what I need them to do, and they're reasonably priced, which makes that nice. As for the watercolor paper, I did get this from my mom. She is a watercolor artist, so she often has more supplies than she needs. So I was able to grab a couple sheets from her the last time I was over to see my parents. But it is Arch's cold pressed 100% cotton watercolor paper. I do tend to hoard this, and I'm very careful when I use this paper because it feels very precious to me. But otherwise, I use just 140-pound watercolor paper that I get from Canson. That works just as great for what I need it for. But for these larger projects that is going to be hanging on someone's wall, I definitely try to use the better paper. The other things I like to use before I do watercolor painting, obviously, are my sketches. Those live typically in a Moleskine sketchbook. Those are my favorites. But I did recently find a dupe on Amazon Amazon, which is about half the cost. Same size, same grade covers. I really like the hardcover. The paper is maybe a little bit thinner, but for, a sketchbook, it does exactly what I need it to do, and I absolutely love it. And I will also link both of those down below for you as well. I do my sketches in just a ballpoint pen that I get from the grocery store and a regular clicky pencil. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those down below, and I'll see you in the next one.